What's up guys, welcome back to another video here at Achieve Academy, and today we'll be going through loci and construction. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I promise you it is this easy. Our learning outcomes for today is to understand what loci and construction lines are, the different types of them, and how to draw them. It is also to solve loci and construction exam questions. So, what is a loci and construction? A locus is a path formed by a point which moves according to a rule, and the plural of this is loci. We use loci to accurately construct lines and shapes, along with using them for real-life applications, such as safety perimeters around enclosures. In this lesson, we will focus on solving loci and construction exam questions by drawing construction lines using a compass. For a quick introduction into loci and construction, I'll use an example what would use to me, by using the example of a safety enclosure, to show you what a loci actually is. As we stated before, loci is simply the plural of the word locus, which means to make a path by following a point, such as the locus of a pencil in a compass, which makes a circle when you spin the compass around. Loci and construction lines are used in real life scenarios, such as areas and enclosures I'm about to show you. Say if we had an imaginary 2 meter perimeter around the enclosure, how would we draw it? Obviously it's not 2 meters to scale, but you get the point. So with this example of the enclosure, we use the compass at the edge of our rectangle, and then we simply draw straight lines for it to have a 2 meter perimeter above our rectangle straight lines. The reason we use the compass at the edge is because if we drew a big rectangle outside our little rectangle, at some points it would be more or less than 2 meters away from the edge of the smaller rectangle, which is why it's a curve, because this will always make sure it's 2 meters away. What I showed before is a basic understanding of loci, but this is what you'll probably ask in your exam. By the end of today's video, if you don't understand it, don't worry, because loci has only come up once in like 8 years of the exams, and it probably won't come up often. But you need to know it, because they haven't took it off the specification, so they could ask you. With this example of a triangle, we can accurately draw it by using the compass to find the common point. The straight line of AB is our baseline, and you'll be given that in your exam. You'll then be asked to work out the point C, obviously. So then, we use the measurements that will be given to you in the question. You may get told AB is 6 meters, A to C is 4 meters, B to C is 3 meters, or whatever. And then you'll set the distance of that to your compass. So, if we know A to C is 4 meters, you set your compass to 4 centimeters. And then you draw a curve, as we can see with our first curve here. Say if we get told B to C is, say, 5 meters, do 5 meters in our compass, then we draw a curve here. Where the two curves intersect is our third point in the triangle, and then we would draw 2 straight lines to meet there. Now it's time to have a go at some Maths Genie exam questions. Have a go, pause the video, and unpause when you've done. So, as we stated in our example before, first, here we would have a triangle, because we'd recreate the triangle we've already been shown. We then use the measurements that we've been given. So, for A to C, we set our compass to 6 centimeters, and then we draw a curve. And for B to C, we set our compass to 8 centimeters, and we draw another curve. Where these two curves intersect would be our point C. And this would prove that the triangle is a triangle, because you got 2 points what intersect, and then you draw it. Now it's time to have a look at a second type of construction line, a perpendicular construction. Constructions are accurate diagrams drawn using a pair of compasses and a ruler. When drawing constructions, the construction lines must not be rubbed out. Make sure you definitely don't rub them out in your exam, because you will lose marks. For this example here I'm about to show on screen, we are asked to draw the perpendicular from a point to the line. Here is how you'd work it out. Also, don't forget, perpendicular must include a right angle to the line, because that's what perpendicular means. So, here we have point P, and we must draw 2 curves using the compass what intersect our line below. So, we draw one curve here, and we draw another curve here. This is where it intersect. Make sure your curves are pretty wide. Then we draw a curve which is below P all the way down on a straight line, but you draw the curve starting from curve on our straight line and the other curve on our straight line. You then draw them, and the point that intercepts would be a straight line from P all the way down. And as we can see, our little box here represents that's a right angle. Again, now it's time to have a go at a master design question. Have a go, pause the video, and unpause when you. So, in our example here, we asked to use a ruler and a compass to construct the perpendicular from point P to the line AB. You must show all your construction lines. This is literally the example we've just done. So first, we draw a curve here, and we draw a curve here on our line AB. Now, we draw two curves from our other two curves, which intersect. And as we can see, this line is a straight line down from P. You can add the little box to show it's a right angle if you want, but you don't need to get the max. So this is what you draw to get the max. The final type of construction lines you need to know is when you get given, say, the two black lines here, and you ask to contrast the bisector of them. Remember, bisector means simply the halfway point. So here's how you do. First, say, at a point where both lines meet, we need to draw curves what intersect both lines. So we draw a curve here, and we draw another curve here, as we started from the point where the both lines intersect. And we need to draw curves what lie on our other lines. Now, as we've drawn these two lines, we can now draw other two curves which intersect of each other. And we started then from drawing it where our other two curves intersect the lines. Now, we simply draw a line from the joint of the two lines to the joint of the two curves, and this shows the bisector of the two black lines. Now it's time to have a go at some of the hardest design questions you're probably asked on loci construction. Have a go, pause the video, and unpause when. So here we are asked to use a ruler and a compass to construct a perpendicular bisector to the line AB, and we must show all our construction lines. As we've seen before, we know what the word perpendicular means, but bisector means it cuts it straight in half. So here, we draw two curves, so we start from A, and we draw a curve, start from B, and we draw a curve, and we've only bothered about where the two lines meet. Now, we draw it again, but on the other side. And remember, this should be halfway between both your lines. Now, we draw a line down through, connecting both of them to show it's a perpendicular bisector. Remember, this should be halfway between A and B, because this is where your two lines would meet if we drew a big curve. Now we have another exam question to have a go at. Here, we use a ruler and a compass to construct the bisector of angle DEF, and we must show all our construction lines. As you can see, it's like the triangle we did before. So first, we draw a line between ED, as we start from E, and we draw another line from EF, when we started from E. These two curves serve as our starter curves to draw our joint curve, which is somewhere between F and D, but slightly around. Now, as we draw these two curves what intersect, we can draw a straight line from E, intersecting these two curves, and this proves the bisector of the angle DEF. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of today's lesson. Don't worry if you've not quite understood it from the beginning. It is probably the hardest grade 4 skill you need to know, because it doesn't really involve any mathematical basis, you're just drawing lines. But still, it is asked on your exam questions maybe once out of 8 years, but you still need to know, because they may ask you again. And you can't lose 2 to 4 marks just because you don't know how to draw some lines. So, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.